Welcome to the Las Vegasville podcast, brought to you by Jump Studios, where we cover topics related to everything happening around Sin City, including the social media scene, food, and a whole lot more, with some of the best, most popular accounts around the city, and talk about their success in Vegas and beyond. I'm your host, Philip Zhang, aka Las Vegas Phil. Check me out on IG or TikTok, and feel free to text or leave me a voicemail at 702-551-4445. On with the show. All right, welcome to this week's show. It's a special show. We've reached 52 episodes. We've done a whole year of the podcast. Really awesome milestone for all of us. The guest lists, the topics, everything has been more than I could ever ask for. We've had senators, celebrity chefs, huge TikTok accounts, amazing entrepreneurs, the best creators in Vegas, so many more. And through it all, I've learned a lot, but there's still a long way to go. 52 episodes, meaning we made it the whole year, not counting the 3 episodes of compilations when I was in Japan. With me today is Tyler Mills, who's been with every episode because he has to shoot it all.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Tyler was actually on the Las Vegas falafel episode.
Yep. And then, like, when you were doing it via Zoom in the pandemic, I was on the Jump Employees episode.
Yes, which was a big plug for Jump Force. I heard Paul actually got some business out of that.
I wouldn't know. I just filmed the stuff.
Which is why I'm here. This is why.
I mean, yeah, we're doing it, yeah.
So 52 episodes in. Tyler, any kind of thoughts about the process for you, what it's been like?
I mean, for shooting and editing a podcast in general, definitely it was a lot more complicated than I thought. I mean, it's simple. It's still, but like doing sound and camera and making sure lighting is always good and multiple cameras and making sure that an hour edit is watchable, which it's still not.
Still not, apparently. Yeah, we'll get into the numbers a little bit later because I'm going to go through all that just for my own.
But yeah, I would say if you want to do it, definitely get someone to help you. Get at least a partner or someone. You could do it yourself, but it'd probably be a lot easier to have at least someone help you, because it's been a lot easier for me to have your guys' just feedback. And I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
do it. It's fun. I'd say do it. It's been really fun. I like editing them. I laugh at the episodes as I'm editing them, but it's not as easy as people think it is. From the outside of the camera, I think that when you watch a podcast, it looks really easy to just sit there and talk, and it's not really easy at all. So
agreed. I did 24 episodes by myself prior to joining Jump, and it was a lot.
Yeah, by yourself, I couldn't. Did you edit them too?
Yeah, we were doing just Zoom style.
Okay.
Nobody was in a studio or anything, but right. Yeah, I had to cut it out myself. Back then, my YouTube channel, I wasn't even able to upload more than 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Of an episode because I only had 2 subs.
They had those. I didn't even know they had.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but you were able to upload.
When I started the YouTube, it was, you can upload hours on YouTube now. If for anyone who has kids, there's my kid watches 24-hour compilation videos of the same song over and over. So there's no time constraints now. That's
yeah, it was weird in the beginning. Weird. So if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a bunch of 15-minute clips from the old one. Mm-hmm. And I tried to edit as much as I could, but it was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, editing is a whole beast. It takes a long, it's not hard, but it takes a long time. If it's an hour episode, then you've got to, 4 hours is not that much editing, but if you're not prepared to edit for 4 hours, it's a lot. So
for sure. And then also preparing the episode, sometimes with certain guests I'm not that familiar with, I did have to do quite a deep dive where I'm watching 4 or 5 hours of content to try to grab as much as possible. So it is as in-depth as it possibly can be.
I can't imagine, because not that I don't care about any of the guests, but right. when you don't know who someone is, or you don't generally care about someone, it's really hard to get into what they care about. And so, yeah, some of the questions I'm like, wow, he really got into their lives.
I'd also like to say that I do care about every guest that's on here.
You're the one. You're the one in front of the camera, so you have to care. But
I have to care.
Yeah. No, it makes I always look at shows like Hot Ones, like people like Sean Evans is like that makes them. You really see the genius that they are because they pull out like the deepest things from everybody that talks to them, and like not just deep but like entertaining, which is like that's a whole different beast. I keep hitting the microphone.
Yeah, there are a lot of tangents. I somehow think of the Threads podcast with Fabian and Dano talking about tangents and how that went way off the rails.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Fabian's good at tangents, so at least it was Fabian. But yeah, that was you can really go off. In a lot of podcasts, I feel like they don't even really end up what they're starting about.
For sure. We tried to go find the apple juice at Resorts World, and the bar was not open.
What?
At 3 p.m. on like a Saturday or Sunday.
Not open till 5 or
not open till 5.
Oh, okay. I thought
we went.
I thought it was like closed down. Like,
but nobody knew what we were talking about. That were
the golden apple juice. I'm sure Fabian. I'm sure that it's just Martinelli's or something.
I know. There's no one blending.
Like,
I know.
What?
We'll see.
What are you talking? Yeah, we have apple juice at the bar. We have to mix it, of course.
But because of that clip, it makes it an easy reel.
That's true.
I was gonna go try both apple juices and then.
Well, now they're gonna have to, like if a clip like that ever went viral, then a place like that would have to make like a golden apple juice for real, with like gold leaf or something.
I mean, Pressed Juicery or any of those places must.
I don't like
would
Pressed.
Think they would have good apple juice. Pressed specifically, you don't like.
Well, I just don't. Okay, sorry. I don't like the places that I don't like it when they have like fruit, and then like nutmeg. I'm not one of those people who likes a spice or like. Turmeric is good, but I don't want it with peaches and apples. So normally, like there's like Pressed. I don't like Salt and Straw because they have weird flavors.
Yeah, I saw someone post this chicken and waffles one
from Salt and Straw.
Was it somewhere else? Maybe
I mean, I feel like Salt and Straw goes towards the healthy side. Like they're like it's like
Strawberry
raspberry.
balsamic.
Yeah, they're like raspberry basil.
Okay.
But yeah, like places that's like a whole fad where it's like. A cool, trendy. Like I'm sure that there's gonna be like a burrata ice cream soon, but
yeah, Jay and I had smoked mozzarella ice cream yesterday.
Was it good?
At Partage, it came in
Smoked
like a focaccia
mozzarella
dish.
ice cream.
It was really good.
It was good. What? This is like did you guys ever see the fish ice cream on Iron Chef when they did like?
There used to be a crazy gelato place on Las Vegas Boulevard that used to do like spaghetti meatballs and all kinds of crazy.
In
stuff.
gelato?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was Art of Gelato.
I'm not one of those people who can try stuff like that.
Yeah, I wasn't into it either. Wasabi, they did spicy ones. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of tangents.
Yeah, speaking of tangents.
That was a good
ranch
tangent.
ice cream.
That was a good tangent. So this episode really is all about gratitude, but also a timestamp of where we are in the show and some lessons learned. Drew's advice about podcasts always resonates with me. Do it because you love it. Don't do it because you're looking for numbers or fame or anything like that. It's all about the passion. Everything else is kind of just a byproduct of that. And I think that's really good overall advice just in life, especially in content creation, is good work is the most important thing. And then everything else is just a byproduct of that. I honestly had my doubts we would even make it a year. I'm glad we did. Thanks to Jay and Tyler.
We don't quit.
We don't quit. Yeah. We've somehow managed to do, have we missed? Maybe we missed 1 week. I think it was like a holiday.
I'm thinking it's weird for me because on our Dropbox, we're going to be on episode 56. But I think that
the compilation.
Oh, with the compilation. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
52 episodes. On the audio side, we've had over 7,100 downloads for around 136 per episode. The top episodes listened to from 10 to 1. 10 and 9 were both from Drew Unlocked. We did the holiday one, and then his standalone episode where he spit out tons of fire and gems was number 9. Then number 8 was Food Beast.
That was a good one.
That was a great one.
Funny.
Speaking of guests that I never thought we'd ever have on the show, guys like
Eli and Keem. Because of that episode, I still watch Keem's stuff, and I actually got like really into IRL streaming and stuff like that. But they're super cool people. I mean, Eli's always been really cool. I feel like he carried Food Beast for a long time. His personality was like the Food Beast personality, but I like the new people on Food Beast, but Eli's definitely like one of the coolest people in the food space, I'd say. And Keem just fits in. Like anyone that Eli says is cool is already cool. So
what a crazy story for Eli to poach him out of nowhere.
Insane. Yeah. He's like a genuinely nice guy. So it's like really cool to see like someone who's always nice to everyone. Cause like, I don't know, but you feel like you're like, I could not be that nice all the time. Like I could, I'm not like mean, but I'm definitely like in my own, more in my own world. He's like, says hi to everybody, has a nice thing to say, he's always hyped.
Yeah, he's a natural, and dude hasn't been home in New York City in over a year. It doesn't sound like he's been traveling like a madman, and Food Beach just sends him everywhere. Incredible.
If I didn't have a kid that was like when I was younger, that's like the dream life. That's like the dream. Yeah, traveling and getting to meet people and just streaming all the time and doing what like and not it doesn't. I mean, it probably does feel like a job at some point, but it's probably not like YouTubing where you're like going out filming and having to go home and edit or go back to the like. I know those YouTubers they're grinding to get these videos. Those travel YouTubers and stuff are grinding to get these videos out. Like what Ruby was saying, they're going and filming like 6 videos. That's not enjoying Vegas or enjoying. I watch a lot of camping people, so I'm like, how do you enjoy the outdoors if you're just setting up cameras and having to worry about charging and making sure that your sponsorships are looking good and the food looks good? So I can see how, but IRL streaming, that seems like it's fun. Once you get the setup, it seems like it's
natural,
it flows with it. Although being interesting is for hours at a time is probably difficult. It's just only people like Keem can do that because I'm on my phone. I'm like, okay, well, I guess you guys are gonna watch me just like swipe TikTok for 2 hours. Like that's gonna be what I do. Oh, here's my kid's hockey practice. That's like the most interesting part of my day. But other than that, like I don't do much interesting things in real life. So it's like
I think people would disagree with you. I mean, it's just normal because it's normal to you.
That's true. I guess I'm kind of jaded to that. But I don't know. What a lot of people do, they work really hard to go do interesting things. So
true.
A lot of people that we've seen on these podcasts, like the EAs, they're traveling like crazy.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go to Albuquerque, just specifically for the Balloon Festival. I was like, damn, they gotta go, So
next year,
yeah,
maybe Area 15, and that would be. Not Area 15, Omega Mart.
Yeah, or the Meow Wolf there. Yeah. That'd be fun. Yeah, Albuquerque. I've been really wanting to go to White Sands National Park in that area, so I was like jealous that they got to go. And then they went to San Francisco like right in the week that I wanted to go to. So, but then we got to go with Jump, so that was fun.
Yeah, Yuvia's podcast actually was talking about how she realized that she couldn't or didn't want to be a travel content creator because of all the work involved in the amount of enjoyment that was lacking in day to day because he was worried about.
I'm split on that right now. Like personally, I would like to start a travel YouTube, but when I get free time to travel, I don't want to be. You're literally planning a work shoot if you're gonna do that.
For sure.
And so every time I do get free, I'm like, I'm gonna leave my cameras at home.
Yeah, Local Living's another one. When she did like the New England trip. They would do jam and all this stuff, and then she'd be up to like 3 a.m, 4 a.m, putting the video together to put it up at whenever she put it.
That's crazy, yeah, dude.
Which is crazy.
If people think that I work hard or that as an editor I work, I promise you, as an editor, seeing influencers, they work hard. They don't think they don't work hard. Like they work hard. It's crazy because. I just saw Local Living's thing about Utah, and now I'm like, oh, man, I could go back to Zion.
I know, those videos were
the Canyon Outlook Trail. The Canyon Outlook Trail. If that's going to be my next trail in Zion. So
very cool. The rest of the top 10, Summerlin versus Henderson made it, which was kind of an eye-opening one for me because maybe the roundtable and the listeners are more interested in hearing about recommendations, maybe having a shout out of their favorite restaurants. Things like that they could agree with. So we're definitely going to do more of those down the line. And that way, I like that because there's no guest feature. I don't have to write up as much, and it's just places that we've all been.
I have gone to I've tried a lot of places that have been talked about for the first time on here.
Really?
Yeah, like Tokyo Boys. Miznon. Yeah, we tried Miznon like the day after you guys talked.
What did you guys think of Miznon?
Dude, it was awesome. Yeah. It's really good. It's expensive. When I ordered it, I thought I was going to get like this plate, and it was like a pita. And I was like, oh, this is what's $36. But it was delicious. It was amazing.
The green beans are like $18. It's more than the falafel sandwich.
The flattened potato or the run-over potato. It's like $15 and it's literally like 2 little fingerling potatoes smashed with like like a tiny little bit of, like you're sitting there scraping it off the paper, trying to get your money out of it,
Right.
but it's delicious. So I'll go back definitely.
They should have a car just run it over. Maybe people like it's like the tableside presentation.
Or like do the hydraulic press and just do like a bunch of them. That'd be a good one. Was it an early recommendation? Oh yeah, Herbs and Rise.
Brandon.
That's like my favorite place.
Yeah.
Nothing bad because I've only
Okay.
tried the places that everyone said is like the best.
Right.
So like Tokyo Boys, Herbs and Rye, like those two places.
Nice.
Miznon. There's one more, but I'm forgetting it. But yeah, I've
6 was Talls and I discussing the top 5 social media accounts for restaurants. I think that was really interesting from an industry perspective. Lots of marketing and PR and other restaurants were listening to that one, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And then the top 5 audio were kind of surprising to me. David Zhao of the X-Pot, then Kate Sheeler, the sex therapist, which was one of my favorite episodes.
That was a good episode.
Alexandra Lourdes at number 3, Norma Jelly at 2, and then number 1 is Travel Ruby with a whopping 520 downloads, which blew out every other one by a mile.
Travel Ruby has a pretty good following though. It's pretty strong, and I can see she's got good content. It's like super informative, so that's like something that a lot of her people would probably like throw on.
And I think not that many people have interviewed her as in depth.
Yeah,
so
I think about that,
when
yeah.
they search,
Yeah.
they saw that. I went to her slot pull event at Downtown Grand, and people recognized me from the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from
that's
her
cool.
interview.
That's cool.
Which
That's
was
like
interesting.
backwards.
Yeah, so they all
she's
listened
the
to
famous
it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I mean, that's cool to hear. I guess as the person who like edits it, you know. But she was like one of the. I didn't know of her before the podcast, but after I saw a lot of her stuff, I'm like, oh, she's pretty big. She's good. They have got good content, and it's like really informative. Vegas content create like people who do Vegas specific like Pomsey and stuff like that. It's hard. It's not. There's a lot of information, and then when you think that you can do it, and you sit down and think about how much you know versus like what can you bring versus someone like Vegas Starfish, there's not much that they don't know already. So
True. So the super interesting thing to me about this top 10, none of the great local foodies I've talked to are on this list. Kate has nothing to do with food, although sex is a hot topic for anybody. I also love that the top 4 guests were all female. And I got to say, one big motivating thing for me was to highlight successful women in social media. So many of the podcasts, especially the ones that end up I see on YouTube, are a lot of boys club stuff, or interviewing just OnlyFans, or just the hottest girl on TikTok. And not that I wouldn't ever have someone like that on the show, but there's a lot of talent, a lot of brains not being highlighted, especially in Vegas.
yeah.
So I think that was a very important thing for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I see a lot of influencers that like lately that are just doubling over as like pool girls and stuff like that and using it to like up wherever they're at. Almost like they're essentially promoters and using like, I don't have anything against it, but I see you're saying like, it's cool to highlight people like Kate who bring like a whole like educational aspect to OnlyFans. Like what, I mean, I don't know who's subscribing to educational OnlyFans, but she's making her money on it. So that's really cool, you know? Like Alexandra's like, she's like a superstar. Like even beyond Vegas, like her following is strong. Like yeah, it's crazy. She's like I mean, I don't know. I guess I have a bias towards like Vegas creators, but she's like borderline famous when it comes to like just like lifestyle influencers beyond even owning the donut shop, because a lot of her content's like family stuff, travel stuff. It's just, I mean, and her following is super strong. So that, yeah.
Yeah, you talk about someone that can put it all together in a really interesting way, and it seemingly in not a very long amount of time.
It's crazy because I swipe through a lot of content. I don't watch a lot of like lifestyle stuff, and I still find myself watching her whole videos, you know? So whatever it is, even if I'm still watching the whole thing. So she's doing it right. I don't know what it is, but she's doing it right.
Yeah.
And Norma's cool. She's like she's like, I feel like younger, like in, appeases to not like kids, but like more people like my age that like, I like her content. It's just cooler and chill. She's a really nice person. Who was the last one? I have to say something nice.
Were you talking about Ruby?
Oh, Ruby's, yeah. Ruby.
Ruby.
I already said something nice about you, Ruby. You're cool.
The locations of downloads were also fun to look at. Well, 87% of it is from the US, 5% from Canada, and 2% from the UK. 53 downloads were from Germany. We had 48 from Australia and 35 from Ireland, with most of them coming from Belfast. So thanks to you. But rounding out the rest of the notable ones, we've had downloads from Sweden, Spain, Mexico, and Japan. We even had 3 downloads from the entire continent of Africa. What? I don't know which ones they listen to. I would love to know.
Yeah, that's cool. They don't get to tell us what episodes they are.
Yeah. If we're talking cities, 31% of the downloads are from Vegas. I thought that number would be much higher.
Where else?
4% from Henderson, 2% from Heron, Illinois, a place I've never heard of. So I Wikipedia'd it. It's a population of 12,000 people, and it's 5 hours south of Chicago.
Dang. We got on some radio station somewhere.
So shout out to whoever is out there. Thank you, Heron, Illinois.
How close is it to Ohio? Maybe it's pretty done. Maybe some people from Ohio, like
maybe these are all recent.
Yeah. I don't know. We've had some, like, lately we've had some worldwide people. Buddy V, he's pretty worldwide. I wouldn't put it past YouTube to give it to a couple people that are not in Vegas.
Heron, Illinois actually has more downloads than LA does. Which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's a small sample size, but yeah, right. It's like 4 versus 2, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I only looked at the percentage, but
that's cool. That's insane. I would think that a lot more came from Vegas, but I mean, I guess while being as small as it is, there's a lot of people who have heard about it that I didn't think would have heard about it. There's when people come out and say like, "Hey, I didn't like what you said." I'm like, "Whoa, you watch it?"
Yeah, I am surprised with that too sometimes when they say that.
Like, how many business owners have texted you? I'm like, dang, at least they're watching it.
Yeah. So LA was next with 2%. Calgary, Alberta also had 2%, and rounding out the top 10 is Tucson, Phoenix, San Diego, North Las Vegas, and Toronto. So shout out Canada and Arizona.
So Vegas is like really like 50%, but it's like around the area.
Right.
I'll
so North Las Vegas and Henderson.
Someone watched it from Vegas while they were in Phoenix. They were driving on their, there's a lot of people that work in Phoenix. They, we'll attribute a little bit more local.
Mobile is definitely the way to go when listening to the podcast. Apple Podcasts take up 41% of the downloads. 3,000 of them were from Apple. Spotify at 28%, and then a bunch of small ones. Unknown Apple apps, Buzzsprout, Overcast, which had 2% of the downloads. Are you surprised it's Apple over Spotify? Some people are.
I would say I am surprised because I use Spotify, but I think that for podcasts, people probably use Apple, because you don't have to use Apple Music. So, because I still have the Apple Podcast app on my phone, so I think that maybe it just is like the if they're going through the link or something like that, it just goes automatically to Apple. I guess I'm actually not too surprised, but yeah, those two, Spotify and Apple. I listen through Spotify, but I don't really listen to podcasts. I'm a YouTube person. I like watching them on YouTube. I'll put them on the background, but when I do a podcast, I don't not consume any podcasts, which is
I don't either.
No, I should not be saying that. That's the person who edits it, but yeah.
Maybe that's the problem. No, I'm kidding.
I only consume the best podcasts. The podcasts that I do consume, I only watch on YouTube.
So what podcasts do you consume?
Flagrant, I'm forgetting so many things.
I've seen the ad for that one.
That comedian. Do you know the comedian name? No. Kill Tony's not a podcast. It's like a show. But Flagrant is like the main podcast. Really, that's like the only one that I've like regularly. When Marquise Brownlee did like a podcast, so Theo Vaughn's podcast, but that's kind of going through something weird right now. A lot of comedians podcasts because it's just funny to hear like they're always that funny. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Stavros Halkias, but he has got a really funny podcast where he lets people call in, but they call in with like the most.
That would be nice.
Because they know that they're calling comedians. They call in with like the most ridiculous like problems, like life problems, and then they get like good advice. So it's hilarious. Like, and they just get roasted on the phone. So
a live show could be funny, maybe one day.
They're all professional comedians. I feel like I always say like I could do that, but then I'm like I can't even think of a joke live on stage. So I couldn't do with that, even a podcast with that. So
the only podcast I listen to is New Heights, which is the Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce NFL podcast. It's the best guests, they're just so natural with each other.
Is it for fantasy or just generally?
Just football in general.
Oh, really?
So their first season was last season, and what was really cool is they went week to week. They would chat because Jason's on the Eagles, Travis is on the Chiefs. So they talk about their week.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then it led up to them both making the Super Bowl. which just was the greatest.
That's
season
insane.
ever.
That's a cool story for like that'll shoot a podcast through the roof. But
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's the only one I listen to. I don't know if Caleb Presley is a podcast because it's only like 15 minutes.
Caleb Presley.
The Sunday Conversations with Barstool.
Yeah, this is I don't even know Barstool podcast. Like, dude, I'm not a consumer of podcast. I'm such a swiper, and like when it comes to short form, or like if I go out to consume content, is just YouTube videos right now, or like I'll go out to like watch a movie. I'm trying to be like very like mindful about how long I'm like just brainless. But yeah, I don't really listen to podcasts. I really just watch YouTube, except for Flagrant. Flagrant's fun, and I don't even watch that like every episode because like a 3-hour podcast is a lot. Even an hour to like commit to listening to something is a lot these days. So
I agree. Who has time to watch a movie?
And I'm not really that into football. So if it was a hockey podcast, I could be or if it was like something for fantasy.
Seen your fantasy lineup, I know.
Hey, I got Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that's he did not do good last night.
It was all right.
I was watching.
The pick six wasn't his fault.
I did find myself. Okay, so it was my 3rd year in the fantasy league with you guys, and this was the first time I ever found myself watching a game, saying like, "Hey, I got that player. I guess I'm gonna root for whatever he does because I need more points because Jay's gonna beat me this week for the first week." And after all the shit he talked, I'm like, there's 2 people that can't beat me this year. It's Sammy and Jay.
It's a lot of shit talk.
Yeah.
Top devices are the Apple iPhone at 77%. No surprise. I believe a lot of creators listen to us. So that's why it's 77%. Android phone was only 9%.
What's the wait? Oh, 70. Wait, what? We're
77% of the audio downloads came from Apple iPhone.
And then 9%, but we're not at 100. What's the rest? Just others?
So unknown device at 5%.
That's
Windows computer and Apple computer.
Okay, someone's on their Xbox listening to this podcast so they can throw it up on the TV. I've seen
That's
the
not
stories.
a bad idea.
I've seen the stories that said watch it on TV. Don't watch it. It's in 1080. Just watch it on your computer screen. We're not at 4K yet. Don't watch it on your big ass freaking 80-inch TV. Or do, I guess, if you're gonna watch the whole thing. Give us watch hours.
Yeah, we made a conscious effort to have a separate YouTube channel for this versus putting it just on mine. YouTube has been an interesting thing. There seems that YouTube definitely seems to have an edge in audience numbers overall, while I'm just not a big podcast guy. If I do consume it, it is on YouTube just like you.
Yeah.
And the numbers aren't big in the grand scheme of things, but I'm grateful for anyone that listens or even cares. Over 127K views total lifetime. Shorts have performed better than full episodes, no surprise. And the view duration was, for me, tough to look at. The average percentage viewed is 70% of the full episode.
70 or 17?
17.
Okay, yeah.
Which makes, I was discussing this we have a podcast text group, and maybe we need to cut the show to 20 minutes.
Yeah. Or 30, 40. Yeah.
We're at 40 right now?
We're at 40 right now.
Fuck.
Damn,
okay. See you next week.
Yeah. No, see, it goes so fast. I'm probably talking way too much. I'll cut it all out.
It's okay.
But because I'll say this. I watch Flagrant, but I probably watch 17 minutes of it. I mean, I would say probably 30 because it's a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, 3 hours is a tough commitment. How?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, and I'll be even the best episodes of every podcast. If it's over 20 minutes, I'm going like, all right, let's get through this. So I wouldn't that's 17 seems pretty good for us. I would say we, a lot of Q&A. It's a lot of, I'd say it's a pretty niche like industry thing. We're not Joe Rogan talking to, Theo
Dude, that
Vaughn.
just got a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they cut the shorts together, it was some of the shorts these other podcasts cutting are they're like, you died? And then the guy's like, yes. And then that's the whole, it's like, watch the rest of the podcast. That's I've seen shit like that on Joe Rogan. Right. I'm like, okay, I have to go see what they're going to say.
Right.
So, yeah.
Which prison has the best food? We're sitting down with 5 ex-convicts.
Joe Rogan, but there was this one podcast that totally got me because the hook was it was just some dude talking about a prison, a full prison yard riot, and he was in it. And I'm like, oh, I got to hear what they did. And I listened to 7 of their TikToks. So that, yeah.
Maybe cutting down the episode. Ruby's episode and the holiday episode with Drew averaged the most minutes listened to. They were both over 20.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we need stronger openers. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the holiday episode had a cool segment, and the sandbag thing was that's like one of those moments that like
Right.
we'll shoot a podcast.
That was great.
That
That was great. Paul's like, there's no way you can make this.
exactly. That was a perfect moment. And then yeah, like Travel Ruby's like her following's strong. They got she had good info all the way through. I'd say Drew was definitely right though. You'll never get to your 100 if you don't do your first. And they were like 500 or something like that.
Crazy.
So we got a few hundred to go through before we get our breakthrough.
We'll see. Shout out to Drew. Shout out to the residency, of course. So the top 10 for YouTube is quite different actually than the audio. Number 10 was the best Vegas hotels for food. So that was a very recent one that shot up really quick.
That one's good.
9 was Reina is Crazy, the one she did in the studio here.
In the studio, not on.
Not Bulldoggies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a cool event though.
Yeah, that was really fun. I don't think that one performed very well. It was also very quick, but
Yeah. That one was cool though. She ate a lot of hot dogs that day. Those were big ass hot dogs too.
she recently went back to Bulldoggies. I went with her, and she did one where she stuck a whole wiener.
Oh,
The one bite.
Oh my god! Her family friendly thing is so funny because her one bites are so like suggestive, but it's like there's like she's gonna shove it down her throat, and then she did every single one like.
Yeah, so the customers are horrified. The employees were in shock when she did the whole thing.
Oh my god! Yeah.
It has over 12 million views on her IG. I think it's her biggest IG reel ever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A week and a half. And Barstool reposted on all their fucking channels.
Really?
Like 5 days ago?
Really? I haven't seen. I'm probably gonna see it like as soon as I start swiping. Now that you talked about it,
Yeah.
but I have not seen the video yet.
Yeah,
I just saw a video. I think you reposted someone who like traveled to Vegas just to go get like to eat a bunch of food. They're like, first place I'm going is Bulldoggies, and they're like, and they said they credited you. I was like, that's crazy. Like, someone came to Vegas just to like get hot dogs because you said. I mean, I guess if I saw.
Well, this is what Keith Lee deals with every day. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah. Number 8 was Hooked LV, which was a really cool one. I thought it was cool because he's kind of an enigma. He doesn't really hang out with anyone.
Yeah, I would like to hang out with Damien. He's a cool dude.
He is a cool
If
dude.
you want new friends, Damien, I'll hang out with you. But yeah, he seems like a really cool guy. I can like he hangs out with Drew. If Drew thinks anyone's cool, they're probably pretty cool. Like so. Yeah,
True.
Damien's a really cool guy. But I guess it's cooler that he doesn't. So don't hang out with too many people.
Yeah.
Because then you're not as cool. Then you're just like Jay.
His friend line is Drew and then nobody else. So.
He's got to keep it top. He's like one of those people that only follows one person on Instagram.
Right.
They have like 1.2 million followers, and then they follow.
Maybe
like,
he should just go down to zero.
zero. I don't even consume content. I just make it.
One of my clients has 0 followers.
Really?
Yeah, Big Jerk has 0
They don't follow
followers.
anybody.
Never has. They follow LeBron for
That's
like
a flex, and
2
they
months.
only following LeBron. That's a flex. That's how many followers have they? Like, what's
They have
been the?
over 25K.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's not like the 1 point. That's not like
Really easy scroll.
Yeah. Like my kid follows this musician Boy with Uke, and he just hit 1 million followers, and he follows 0 people. I'm like, but for some reason that's so cool. Just follow 0 people.
True.
Everyone. I follow way more people than I'm followed by. So I don't know why. I don't know anything about the psychology of that, but.
And that was the thing for Kanye West for a while. Like one kid got he just decided to follow someone randomly, and one kid got all this.
Only one. I mean,
Twitter
that kid
fame,
probably
Twitter
felt
fame.
so cool.
Yeah, and then Kanye said, "You're the chosen one."
Oh,
And then,
wow.
and then it just started going crazy.
I mean, I hate Kanye West, but
Yeah.
that kid probably
Yeah.
felt super cool. That was
So maybe Hooked LV could do that.
yeah, Damien, just follow one random foodie, like the smallest foodie you can find.
Anything.
Let's see.
Number 7 was the compilation of inspirational moments on the show. I think that had a lot to do with Norma just posting up a story with a link. A lot of the comments were just, I'm here for Norma, I'm here for Norma.
Oh, okay.
So
I would see. I mean,
that was good.
the show is. I would say if you want to be a foodie, there's some inspirational parts to it, or you want to be a content creator. But we're not saving lives.
No. No. 6 was the Keith Lee effect. That was a very interesting episode where we had we interviewed several owners, and Brandon co-hosted that show with me.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one.
That was really one of the first times we had talked about the biggest news in Vegas food, and continues to be the biggest news in Vegas food.
He's like national. Isn't he a TV show now with
Just on another level. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a national person.
Every time I see his stuff, it's like I'm like, oh, it's like watching like an insider, like a news channel's video pops up, and there's like people there's more people not from Vegas following him now than are from Vegas. So yeah,
Yeah, the fact that he blew up so many businesses when he was in New Orleans is crazy.
Yeah. I wish that he went to New Orleans before me. I had a bad food experience in New Orleans, so
Yeah,
I guess
next time.
I should have gone to Emerald's restaurant. That's that's the one place John Curtis said to go to. But
Yeah, I still haven't been. That's definitely on the top of my list for U.S. cities. Number 5 was Vegas Issues. He was the second episode on the show, and I think for a lot of people, he was a mystery person as well. So people want to kind of see what he was all about.
yeah, he's super funny, and we've had him back recently. But yeah, I love Fabian.
Yeah,
I wish
Fabian's
that
awesome.
I wish that we could work together.
Number 4 was Vegas Starfish. That was a great episode, super inspirational, and I think that's a really cool kind of time capsule show because she's done way more bigger things since then.
Yeah, she was definitely like on her ramp up
Yeah.
in that episode because she was like crazy now.
Yeah, now it's just a whole crazy level. Number 3 was Top of the Food Chain with Unlocked. That stirred up a lot of
When doesn't Drew stir up?
controversy or emotions.
I think it's just I mean, you can call it controversy, but people just get their feelings hurt for no reason. So
One PR company person asked me, where is all this arrogance coming from now? And I try to explain to them that we've always felt this way. We've just never had an outlet.
So I'm not a foodie or an influencer, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not on either side. I think that both sides of marketing, we've already come to it. But yeah, I don't think that I would say it's arrogance. I think that Drew was right.
It's news to them because
Yeah.
they've never heard us talk about it over the years.
I mean, I've shit talking in general. If once you hear it, it hurts your feelings. So yeah, I get it. But yeah, I mean, working for Jump Force, I actually work with a lot of cool PR people. They're really nice to us. I can see where they lack in what, but everyone that we work with, where they lack, they've hired a place like Jump Force for. So
My brother sometimes listens to the shows. He has no idea who I'm talking about or half the time what I'm talking about. But he thought Drew was like the most alpha male person ever, just literally spitting out flames at all times. Like, who is this guy with the mullet?
If you haven't met Drew in person, there's definitely a good frat vibe going there.
That's him. It's not a shtick. It
really is. And you know what? There's a whole industry for it. There's Barstool is like one of the biggest media companies. It's people get in trouble a lot, but I feel like they've kind of found like a benefit in getting in trouble sometimes with that stuff.
Totally. And then rounding out the top 2, no surprise, Travel Ruby's number 2, and Norma Jelly's number 1 with over 4,000 views.
Thanks for the help on YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because they're awesome YouTubers. I've learned a lot from their YouTubes, just uploading and editing stuff like that. And I mean, I felt like I was pretty experienced in production, I guess, and camera and editing and stuff. But yeah, when you take on a new beast like a YouTube or any platform, there's a huge learning curve. And if you don't think that there is, and you're just going to jump into it and be great at it, even if you're great at like Instagram, there's those
Whole
people.
other thing.
It's a whole other thing, and that you don't don't sell them short for what they do because it's hard. Norma is like every 3 times a week. She's like filming day, I'm like and you don't get paid until after. If you're a YouTuber, you don't get paid until after you make all that stuff, and then you got to get the views to come in. That's like a whole risk in itself. That's scary. Like a lot of the work that I do when I'm going to a shoot, I already know what I'm going to get paid, how long I'm going to be working for. So I already have like a motivation to go out. But for Norma to go out like that,
great unknown.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's all about putting in the best effort and the best work, and hopefully it pans out. She's actually in Maine right now, shooting an interesting video. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah,
that's cool though.
Yeah, it's gonna tie in Vegas and Maine, all in one episode.
Is there gambling in Maine?
No.
Oh, okay. That's cool though. Yeah, I've watched. I mean, I watched not every single one of her videos, but I watched a good amount of her stuff, and like I try to keep up. And her and Ruby are good. They're really good. They're for you. I mean, they're for YouTube. It's
so. What does that tell us? Basically, it tells us that I need to ask Pomsey to be on the show.
yeah, we need Pomsey. What about Jacob Orth?
I have talked to Jacob.
He seems kind of timid, but he seems like a cool guy. No, he's not interested in being on the show.
No.
I mean,
it's okay.
No, it's okay. If you're not interested in being on the podcast, it's totally fine. But he's a cool guy. I watch his stuff a lot. He has like informative videos about. He's another one of the.
He's done a great job.
Yeah.
The hotel features of why and why not, things like that.
Pomsy would be good on the show. He's an interesting guy. I find myself. He's one of the people that you find yourself watching for their personalities along with their content. So,
yeah, I've only chatted with Greta a couple times, and I only met Pomsy once. We were at dinner at Ocean Prime. They were sitting at the table next to us. So, I don't know. Maybe if we can hang out, some way to hang out before.
Travel Ruby, guys. Do they hang out ever? Norma hangs out with him probably more.
I don't think Ruby really hangs out with the
YouTube crew here. She's got a lot of work to do, though, for her own channel. It's like, it would be hard to hang out when you're filming that much stuff.
Yeah, Lydia seems to be like, Lydia Penn seems to be like the ambassador for everybody and knows everyone.
Really? That's cool.
The glue.
They're like a cool little crew.
They are. It reminds me of like the beginning IG Foodies kind of.
Yeah, and you know what? They know it, but they're breaking into a huge industry for what it is. Like, for like, if you think that the like Instagram was huge, like YouTube is what they're getting into is like that's big money, dude. They keep going at it because their stuff's cool.
Most popular YouTube short was Kate Sheeler's dick pic policy, with Drew and Ryu Sauce talking about Thousand Island dressing, number 2. Brandon about Keith Lee, Vegas know-it-all about how she didn't know anything about Asian food, and Norma talking about quitting her job. Geography is 78% U.S., then Canada, then India, UK, Russia, and Japan. That's wild.
Wait, geography on YouTube?
In countries, yeah.
Oh,
U.S., wow. Canada, India, UK, Russia, and then Japan.
That's cool. India. I don't know. I mean, I want to see another, like...
We should do a best Indian food.
You should try and get some international foodies when they come to Vegas.
Yeah, that's the plan, for sure.
There's got to be people who come to Vegas for food. If you were an international foodie, Vegas it's one of the best cities in the world for food. So
I hung out with some foodies when I was in London in December, and then also in Japan as well.
They do the same thing, like posting on Instagram, and they're just going around. That's cool. That's cool.
I mean, a little different there, but yeah.
That's cool, though.
It's the same. Pretty cool. And then Boston foodies I've met, New York City foodies. There's definitely less of them there than...
The Vegas food community seems like an anomaly.
Crazy.
So
it's crazy.
It seems like it's like a weird anomaly that everyone's so close.
Yeah, one restaurant owner DM'd me recently, like, how many fucking food creators are there in Vegas? I can't even keep up.
I can't keep up. I work with a lot of you guys, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I love them." I'm like, "I've never heard of that person," and then I'll meet them at like the next shoot, and then so. Yeah, there's a lot of food, but there's so much good food in Vegas. Maybe I'm biased, but whenever we travel, I feel really jaded. And like, there's been a lot of places that we travel to, and we're like, we should try this. And I'm like, there's a place in Vegas that's better than this. And even with like seafood, I felt like my rule used to be that landlocked states can't have as good a seafood as like a place like
big
California.
Comment on any.
But I don't know. I've had some pretty good seafood in Vegas, so I would say Vegas in the world. I mean, I don't know. I've been to Tokyo. You guys really put Japanese food at like the top of the list there. But yeah, I would say that Vegas is like top for food. So
only 20% of the viewership is based in Las Vegas. LA was number 2, New York City number 3, and then a bunch of cities with only a handful of views. Viewer age 35 to 44 was number 1, 25 to 34 is number 2, and then 45 to 54. Sunday is the most watched day, but I think that may be YouTube in general.
Maybe, yeah. I probably watch my most YouTube on Sundays. That's so crazy. That's like the last day before the new upload.
I know. Maybe we should have episodes on Sunday.
On Fridays or something, yeah. I'm like, and not that it's stressful, but yeah, I'm like trying to get this stuff out on Monday morning, and then for it to be, I'll just put it on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, Norma puts out on Friday. She seems to be working out. Friday is a good day maybe to plug the podcast as well. But Friday posts always bomb on Instagram. And there's no correlation between the success of my posts plugging the podcast versus the performance of the podcast at all.
Yeah, you've had some pretty big posts about it.
Yeah, so. Like...
For our 700 subscribers.
Mike's Japanese cheesecake video has like 13 million views on my account. Like 120K likes.
Yeah.
And... we're looking at 180 downloads and maybe 180 views.
I don't know. When I like, I'm not really a content consumer. When I'm not like, usually if I'm on TikTok, I'm on TikTok. If I'm on, then I'll go like, I'm done with TikTok and I'll go to Instagram. It takes a lot for me to want to go, and it's usually for a product. If I leave,
Right.
Like, I'm a big shopper on like, I'm like, oh, this ad's cool. I'll go to their website, and that's the only time I used to be like, oh, I should, but the world's moving so fast these days that. Yeah, you'll probably see that video and be like, oh, so cool. That's a cool podcast, and then swipe past it. So.
Pretty much.
Which is, what? That's a win. I would take that as just how are you going to add up those statistics on your page versus the YouTube. We did good on your page. We did good on a page that does good.
An Osaka cheesecake place I've never been to went crazy. Okay.
I mean, Mike's just an interesting person.
Mike is a great. That's an amazing.
He had good stories on the Japan episode.
He did.
So
I was going to talk about the phone number. The phone number no longer exists. Unfortunately, I just realized that today. I've been a complete slacker on checking the voicemails or checking the texts. A lot of interesting things about. A lot of them are still asking for restaurant recommendations on there. I've gotten pitches for restaurants that want me to run their social media. Someone said Merry Christmas from Portland, Oregon. How are you doing?
Wait, is this before it got switched over to the...
Before it got switched over. So the last messages came in February of this year.
You got a business lead from this?
People are sending out business leads. Yeah. Hi, I'm blah, blah, blah from this place. I was curious if you work with small businesses, how much your rates were.
That's pretty cool.
I'm just looking at these now.
Sorry, restaurants.
Someone runs underground music, house music account, wanted to be maybe on the show. Yeah. Bunch of random stuff. But it seems to be a lot of pitching, a lot of...
It's a very informative show. I feel like that's like the biggest thing that I've learned is that a lot of the people that watch it to learn something about being a content creator or running a restaurant, or a restaurant owner learning about content creation. I feel like that's a lot of people who are trying to like, if Drew's talking and giving you free advice, you should take it, or if Norma's talking about, YouTube, you take that advice because those are the best people. So
that's definitely been the most rewarding thing, that people have benefited from it and learned something from it. I mean, how many people start using the stupid plug-in Apple headphone because...
Yeah, exactly. It's from Damien's episode. I feel like that's the coolest thing I've heard is a lot of people that say like, oh, I learned this from the podcast.
Yeah. After
being initially surprised that they watched it.
Right.
That they learned from it is a big thing. So it's cool. So.
That's definitely been the best. I was going to run into FAQs and all that, but we were trying to keep it under 2 minutes.
I got to cut out so much, dude.
So Jay's raising his hand. It's over.
He's dead.
I'll have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
2 minutes. Okay.
2 minutes.
We're done.
Thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Onward and upward. And until next week.
Thank you.
All right.
It's been fun editing.
Thanks for tuning in to the Las Vegasville podcast. For more information about me and where I've been dining recently, check out my IG and TikTok at Las Vegasville. Feel free to text or leave me a voicemail about anything you want, 702-551-4445. Stay tuned as a new episode of the show debuts every Monday morning. Welcome to the Las Vegasville podcast, brought to you by Jump Studios, where we cover topics related to everything happening around Sin City, including the social media scene, food, and a whole lot more, with some of the best, most popular accounts around the city, and talk about their success in Vegas and beyond. I'm your host, Philip Zhang, aka Las Vegas Phil. Check me out on IG or TikTok, and feel free to text or leave me a voicemail at 702-551-4445. On with the show.